Visual. A quiet waiting room at a clinic. People are sitting silently, reading magazines or scrolling on phones. Camera slowly zooms in on a young man in his 30s, looking peaceful. Enter an elderly man about 75, cheerful, slightly loud, and very talkative. He sits next to the young man. Voiceover calm, slightly humorous tone. As people age, something strange starts to happen. Filters disappear. And suddenly, the most personal, awkward, and downright shocking stories are shared anywhere, anytime, with anyone. Old man, smiling, who? These chairs are harder than my knees after a walk. You here for a checkup too, son? Young man smiles politely. Yeah, just a regular checkup. Old man leans in, lowers voice for drama but still loud enough for the room to hear. I came here last week. Said my colons, twisting like a pretzel. Had to run all sorts of tests. CT scan. Colonoscopy. The whole buffet. Cut to young man, eyes wide. Clearly uncomfortable but trying to stay polite. Old man chuckles. And let me tell you, that prep drink tasted like orange juice mixed with dish soap. Sat on the toilet for 3 hours straight. Camera cuts to other people in the room side-eyeing the conversation. One woman slowly lowers her magazine, eyebrows raised. Voiceover playful light sarcasm. Boundaries? What boundaries? For some seniors, if you're within earshot, you're fair game. Whether you're a family member, a stranger, or just unlucky enough to be nearby. Old man now animated. Back in '83, I had this hernia that popped out like a balloon at a birthday party. My wife nearly fainted. Young man half laughing, awkward. Oh wow, that's intense. Old man intense. You bet. Had to wear this support belt that squeaked every time I bent over. I called it the squeaky savior. Cut to receptionist at the front desk, stifling a laugh. Voiceover gentle, reflective. It's not that seniors mean any harm. Often, it comes from a need to connect, to be heard, to share stories from a lifetime of experiences. But let's be honest, sometimes it's a bit too much. Scene ends with the young man's name being called for his appointment. He rushes. Up, relieved. Young man standing up quickly. Well, that's me. Great chatting with you, sir. Best of luck with the... Old man waving cheerfully. Thanks, son. If you ever need advice on bowel movements, you know who to call. Voiceover closing remark. Growing old can be messy, funny, and awkward, and sometimes a little too honest. Visual. A calm, sunny afternoon in a supermarket. Light background music plays. The camera zooms in on a checkout line. A young cashier scans items. An elderly man stands in line with a small cart. Behind him, people are chatting quietly. Voiceover. Calm, thoughtful tone. Something funny happens with age. The little things, those tiny, forgettable moments can suddenly become huge battles. And sometimes those battles happen in the most unexpected places. Like the grocery store. Cashier smiling politely. That'll be $4.55 for the eggs, sir. Old man frowning deeply. $4.55? For eggs. What are they feeding these chickens? Caviar? Cashier tries to smile. Others in line look over. Awkwardly, cashier, prices have gone up a bit lately. It's the supplier. Old man cuts her off, now clearly irritated. When I was your age, eggs were 25 cents a dozen. 25. I could buy eggs, milk, and bread for $1. And I still have change left? Camera cuts to a young mom behind him whispering to her kid, Here we go. Old man grumbling louder. It's daylight robbery. These stores are stealing from us. Don't even get me started on the price of toilet paper. Voiceover. Humorous, slightly sarcastic tone. Every generation thinks they had it tougher and cheaper. But some seniors take their frustration to the next level, turning every receipt into a courtroom drama. Cashier gently. Would you still like to buy them, sir? Old man grabs eggs angrily. I didn't come all this way to leave empty-handed. Did I? He walks away mumbling under his breath. The line slowly moves forward again. Voiceover, reflective. As people age, patience sometimes wears thin. and the world around them feels faster, louder, and less familiar. That frustration. It often comes out in ways that seem grumpy, but underneath, it's about feeling left behind. Scene ends with a light moment. The young mom and cashier share a knowing smile. Cashier quietly, to herself, same rant. Different day. Visual. The front door of a modest home creaks open. A grown daughter in her 30s and her teenage son walk into her elderly father's house. Dust particles float in the air. The house looks cluttered but livable. At first, voiceover casual. Light tone. As people age, they often form emotional attachments to the most unusual things. Old boxes, broken furniture, expired food. Why? Because each item holds a story, or at least they think it does. The daughter steps further into the house, lifting a pile of newspapers. Daughter? Dad? These newspapers are from 2004? Do you still have them? Old man off screen, proudly. They've got coupons in them. You never know when they'll be useful. She picks up an old VHS tape labeled Wedding 91 and a broken remote control with no batteries. Teen. Son confused. Grandpa, what is this? Is this a radio? Old man enters, holding a cracked coffee mug. That's a pager, son. Used to be the future. Voiceover slightly amused. For many seniors, throwing things away feels like throwing away a part of their past. Even if it's a broken toaster that hasn't worked since 1987, the camera pans across the room, piles of tangled cords, an old CRT TV, several empty pill bottles stacked neatly. Daughter frustrated. Dad, this is becoming dangerous. What if you trip over all this stuff? Old man serious, a bit defensive. Everything in this house has a purpose. Someday you'll understand. These things remind me of better times. Voiceover gentler tone. Hoarding isn't always about being messy. Sometimes it's about trying to hold on when everything else feels like it's slipping away. The scene ends with the daughter sighing, sitting beside her father. She holds up a dusty photo frame. Daughter softly. Okay, we'll keep this one. But the 300 yogurt containers? They have to go. Daughter alarmed. Mom, what are you doing up there? Elderly woman determined. I'm changing the bulb. I've been doing this for 40 years. Don't make a scene. Voiceover, gentle, warm tone. As people age, one thing often gets stronger, not weaker. Their pride. Many seniors would rather risk a fall than admit they need help. The stool shakes a little. The daughter rushes to hold it steady. Daughter, please. Just let me do it. You could break your hip. Elderly woman insistent. I'm not made of glass, sweetheart. I've raised 3 kids, worked 2 jobs, and survived your teenage years. I can handle a light bulb. Cut 2, a shot of the daughter's worried face. She knows it's not just about the bulb. Voiceover thoughtful tone. Sometimes, refusing. Help isn't about the task, it's about holding on to independence. To feel useful, capable, still in control of their own life. The elderly woman finally steps down, carefully. The daughter gently takes the bulb and finishes the job in seconds. Daughter smiling. They're done, and no broken bones involved. Elderly woman quietly. I used to do everything on my own. It's hard. Needing help. Daughter softly. You don't have to do it all anymore. That's what I'm here for. They share a warm hug. The camera pans to the lit bulb above them, now glowing brightly. Voiceover closing line. Aging isn't about weakness. It's about learning to lean on the people who love you and realizing that asking for help ... isn't giving up. It's growing wiser. Visual. A cheerful family dinner. The table is full of food. Everyone is seated, chatting and laughing. The doorbell rings. Cut 2, the front door opens. Grandpa walks in. He's smiling, but his clothes are stained, hair uncombed, and theirs. A noticeable odor. The room falls a bit quiet. Voiceover neutral tone. Here's something most people won't tell you. As some seniors age, hygiene takes a back seat. It's not always laziness. It's often something deeper. Cut to family members subtly exchanging glances. One teen coughs and fans his nose. A younger child whispers loudly. Child whispering to mom, why does grandpa smell funny? Mom quietly, we'll talk later. Grandpa sits down at the table, completely unaware of the awkwardness. Grandpa grinning. Don't mind me. I wore my lucky shirt today. Only worn it 5 times this week. Voiceover gentle. Tone. As simple routines like bathing, grooming, and changing clothes become harder, many seniors begin skipping them. Memory issues, depression, or just plain stubbornness often play a role. Later in the scene, the daughter gently pulls her dad aside in the kitchen. Daughter kindly. Dad, how about we pick out some clean clothes tomorrow? Oh, and maybe a nice warm bath? Grandpa slightly defensive. I'm fine. Little sweat never hurt anyone. Besides, I don't need help. Daughter softly. I know, but it's not about needing help. It's about feeling good and comfortable. You deserve that. Pauses, looking at her, then slowly nods. Grandpa, all right. But only if I get to keep my lucky socks. Both laugh. Tension breaks. Scene ends on a warm note. Voiceover closing. Hygiene may seem like a small thing, but it's often a quiet cry for help. With patience, love, and respect, we can help our elders keep their dignity and their freshness.